it is also family and community oriented. So it means that many of these activities, they are involving a labor such as the sister from the rural area who's coming there, or the kids. So everybody is in this together, and the good thing about this, they don't have to pay wage to the people who are helping them. And they also have a very flexible time of production, so it means that they can do the activity. It doesn't matter in which time of the day. It could be in the morning, during the day, and also in the night. And this is also quite an important factor, for example, for the woman who has children, because they can doing this together with their activities of taking care of children. And also they are actually capturing demand from the formal sectors. For example, that even though the people who are working in the formal sectors, they have this monthly income salary, it doesn't mean that they are actually they could afford the kind of goods that is being offered in the formal sectors. For example, I mean, from the different level of people who works in the formal sector, you have somewhere on the level of the bosses, and somewhere in the middle, the workers, but you also people who work as drivers, for example, or as the cleaning services, or people who just, we call them like the office boys, so the around boys. So basically, I mean, naturally, these kind of people, they don't earn so much. So they have to look for different kind of alternatives for a kind of a lunch they can get. So basically they go to this area to have a cheaper alternative of lunch. And I mean, apart from that, there are also these kind of activities that are capturing the local demands. So for example, that we can see that the area, they don't have very good level of infrastructures. So for some of the people, for example, it's very difficult to make telephone calls, or whether they want to, they need running water to wash their clothes. So some of these activities, they are trying to hook up some telephone lines, and so they make their own business. They put telephone on the table, so you can use the telephone that you pay. And then the other one, they are also offering laundry service for the neighbor. And the other thing is they have a very flexible space of production. It means that the activities take place. Could be anywhere, could be in the living room, could be in the little space in front of the house, in the terraces, or in the pedestrian area, or any kind of space that is available. And many of these activities are actually independent of the existing infrastructure, so they are not really relying on having electricity, or having running water, or also communication apart from the telephone business, because it seems that they are quite independent of what they have. So it makes them very, very resilient. So I'm trying to cut short the whole story, because of course it's a really big research, so anyway. So one of the conclusions that I got from the whole thing is actually a continuity of the life living in the kampung itself. It's locally bound, it's related to the demands of the formal sector, and also relying on the local social ties. As I told you before, that they are using people from their own family or also neighbors to help them out. And they're also relying on the flexible appropriation of time and space, so it has to be really flexible to be able to survive or continue. And what is the important statement is that kampung should not be viewed as an urban spatial pathology. I think this is a really dangerous ground to start this view from this way. Because kampung is not only providing accommodation, but also economic opportunities, providing that it is located in a very good area in the center of cities, so they have the possibilities to capture the economic opportunities from the surrounding area. And it is a dynamic economic entity, so it gives the employment to the urban poor, to people who otherwise kind of have anything to earn money to survive. So the solutions to the kampung itself, of course, there are really very long arguments behind this. But basically, the conclusion is the solutions to the kampung area should be local. And local, it means that you are tackling directly all the issue of the infrastructures, the betterment of spatial arrangement, which is quite immediate, but it has to be also long-term. So it means that the kampung area actually is supposed to be integrated to the local, to the general network of infrastructure of the city. So it means that you have to formalize them as part of the urban tissue, the urban fabric, the informal urban fabric. And spatially, so it has to be tackled spatially, economically, social, cultural, and political integration. This integration is really the key issue to really tackle the issue of the kampung. So spatially, there's a relation with the division, provision of infrastructures. Economically, so it has to be much more integrated to the formal sector. And then socially, it means that there shouldn't be any social stigma, and also this is related with the level of the education of the people. So the more there are kind of facilities for education provided for the people, so the more the people have access to make a better their life. And also political integration. So in this sense, the campus should be viewed as really the formal element of the city, which is very important. And the other thing, of course, regionally, it has to be tackled regionally. So it means we have to see first into the root of the problem. Why the urban poor are there in the first place? Because we have, okay, with the decrease of the agricultural activities in the rural area, of course, a lot of people from the council, they are going to the city, and then because they want to have better economic activities. But first we have to see why is it happening like this. So the problem is, of course, that you have we have here a problem of imbalance of development between different kind of areas, the urban area and the rural areas, what is happening there. So if we really can create a policy of development strategy that can really create more balance between this area, of course, logically or hopefully is also going to decrease the flow of the migrants to the city. So basically that is it, the research. If you want to know more, there's a book somewhere in the secretary. Yeah.
Are we allowed to make a question?
Yes, but not definitely. So, future research. Here you can see very clearly that actually what I'm doing here in the research is more in the level of the analytical phase. And also I'm trying to make a very general concept of how to tackle the project problem itself. But of course, if somebody asks me what I'm going to do differently, if I'm going to do this case research, or if I'm going to be given another opportunity to really, extend the research, what I like to do is I would like to see to make a research of making a model of sustainable urban settlement. So trying to see what kind of different kind of settlement that is enable the people who live there to be self-sufficient and to create their own economic activities, but in the same time in a very sustainable way. So I'm very much interested to the issue of the permaculture. Of course, permaculture actually is a very, very old concept, but then I still think that it's actually very much relevant to the issue that we are having nowadays. So I think it's really important that if we can really develop different kind of concept that is much more relevant to our modern demand now. So, and then of course the question is what kind of flexible economy that we could create in this kind of settlement to make a creative society, of course, and also, for example, also in urban agriculture. In the same time that we can try to produce our own source of food in the urban kampung pocket in the area in a very some kind of bird system. We have to think about it. It has to be self-sufficient. Of course, is one of the important things in permaculture is how we really develop the potentialities of all the strong social tie between people who live there. So that's what I want to do. So if you have some ideas, I'm very willing to discuss about it. Okay, first questions.
I have a question. I have two questions actually.